Okay, we're going to talk a bit about 7 chords now. I'll cover 9s a little bit in this as well to learn more about chord structures and stuff. If you check out my other video, chord structures, it'll explain all this stuff in a bit more detail of the numbers. You're going to need to know your scale too, just your major scale, so you know what numbers I'm talking about. I've got a video on that as well. Check out my channel, subscribe to it, and have a look at those videos. But anyway, 7s, I'm going to show you some shapes that we can use. Again, like all guitar chords, there's lots of variations that we can use. We've got lots of options open to us. So we'll start from a basic bar chord. So we'll start with a just an E string or 6 string bar chord. So we'll play an A, 5th fret there. Okay, so let's say that the chord I see written is A7. Okay, so that chord is a dominant 7. So in my major scale, that's my 7 there, but that's not the 7 in that chord. The 7 in that chord is a semitone down from that. Okay, so if I make my bar chord shape there, then the 7 I want is back at the bar here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pinky off, and that's going to take my 8 back to my dominant 7, and that's A7. Nice and easy. So if that was A minor 7, to make an A major into a minor, we need to flatten the 3rd, so we just take that off. A minor 7. Cool, so that's nice and easy, right? So let's come down now to the 5th string, or the A string, and we'll start with the major. So these major chords I bar with my pinky because my fingers are slightly too big to fit them all into one fret like that. Okay, that's not going to work for me when I start playing 7s. Cool, so if we look at a major 7 here, so again this is our 8 here, sorry, and we want to take that back a tone to our dominant 7. So this chord would be D7. So I need to still play my 3rd here and my 5 here. Okay, so my 3rd and my 5, and then I'm just leaving the G string there open in between so that it's playing back at my bar. Cool, so that is D7, and to make that a minor, again flatten my 3rd, and that's D minor 7. Okay, and obviously you just move the shape to the right root note. I'm presuming that you know how to play bar chords before you tackle this. If not, again, I've got a video on that. Jump on, subscribe. Go back a few steps and you'll learn these bar chord shapes. Cool, so that's nice and simple. So a couple of other shapes that we can use there for these 7s is kind of like a backwards D shape. So your D chord like that, if you flip it round, okay, and then we're going to move it up here, so we'll go D again, and play the 3rd there, and then this is going to be my 7. Cool, so that's D7, E7, just moving that shape. Cool, if I chuck my pinky on now, directly below my, what is my 3rd finger, on the B string, I'm going to make that chord into a 9 chord. Cool, so that's just another tool that you can use chucking in. What that's doing is adding in a 2nd from the scale. So just to clarify, a 9 chord is a 7 and a 2. Okay, so some people think that a 9 chord is the 2 played up an octave, but it has to have a 7 in it to make it a 9. So just remember, you can't get a number in a chord above 7 without the presence of a 7. Okay, so 13s is a 7 and a 6, and 11 is a 7 and a 4. Okay, it's got to have both in there. Yeah, otherwise you're still playing a 2 chord. It's just up an octave. Yeah. Cool. So the other 7 chord that you're going to see is major 7. So what you'll see is like A, and then there'll be Ma7 for major 7. Cool. So what that is, in my major scale, that's my major 7. Okay, so if it just says A7, it's a dominant 7. Okay, same with A minor 7, it's a minor chord with that same flat 7, which is still part of the minor scale. Okay, but if it says A Ma7, then that's clarifying it as a major 7. So if I make my A bar shape again, and then I want that note there, so I still want to play my 3rd. So these are a bit more of an awkward shape. So I've got 2 in a row there, and then my 1 and 5 up here. So if you can see that, it's a bit awkward because everything's in the way, but I'm playing those 2 there, and then my 1 and 5. So that 8 has now become a major 7. Cool, so if I did that down here on a D, so I would have normally those 3 in a row, but now I want that note there. So same thing as before, missing out a string in between, but now I'm going to play that 7 a semitone up. That is D major 7. Okay? So the other one you can get is a minor major 7. And what that is a minor chord but with a major 7. So if we come back to our A again, I'm just using these as generic, you move them around the neck for your different chords. But say we had A minor major 7, so I want an A minor chord, take my 3rd off, flatten my 3rd, so we're not actually taking it off or away, we're just flattening it back to the bar. And then my 8, I want to become a minor 7, sorry, a major 7. So that's A minor bar chord, but then I'm going to take my pinky off, and then I'm actually going to use my 2nd finger to play the 7 a semitone up for a major 7. So that becomes A minor major 7, just to be complicated, right? So down here for a D, got our minor shape, and I want my 7 directly above it, so this is going to look a bit like the other one we did before. Those 2 in a row there, and then I'm going to play my 1 and 5 above it. Okay, D minor major 7. Right, so that kind of covers 7 chords for you. Again, there are other shapes that you can find, other ways of doing it, but that gives you a few shapes and things that you can play with, and it at least gives you an understanding and a way to cover those chords when you see them written. So yeah, hope this has helped you out.